Hey Gru, it's Pitt, and I'm back with our Timeless Tarot for August the 12th of 2025. This is, however, a timeless reading, so whenever you find it is exactly when it was meant to find you. We will be pulling a card from the Divine Feminine, a card from the Divine Masculine in accordance with the 8 human chakras, so that we can get a better understanding of how to best manifest our highest timelines in accordance with Spirit. I've already done a pre-shuffle, but I'd like to get a couple more just to make sure everything is exactly where Spirit would have it to be. Now we will begin pulling with the base. And in the base we have the 6 of Swords in reverse. In the sacral we have Strength in reverse. In the solar plexus we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. In the heart we have Temperance in reverse. In the throat we have the Knight of Swords. In the third eye we have the Knight of Pentacles. And in the crown we have the Ace of Pentacles. And then rounding out our message from the bottom of the deck in the Divine Feminine, we have Justice. Next, we'll be pulling a card from the Divine Masculine. The cards on the table, the Divine Feminine, let us know what the current situation is, the current energies. The Divine Masculine lets us know what steps and actions that we can take to best manifest our highest timeline. And we will begin pulling with the Crown. And in the crown, we have the 4 of Cups in reverse. In the third eye, we have the 9 of Cups in reverse. In the throat, we have the 4 of Wands in reverse. In the heart, we have the Empress in reverse. In the sacral, or in the solar plexus, we have the Knight of Swords. In the sacral, we have the 9 of Swords. And in the base, we have the Ace of Cups. And then, rounding out our message from the Divine Masculine on the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. All right, let's dive in and see what Spirit is telling us today. We begin in the base because that is base existence. Do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have food? Do you have money? All the parts of provision. This is the area that deals with love and wrath, so you may be giving away too much affection. You may not be receiving the affection you feel like you deserve, and neither one is intrinsically good in and of itself. And what we are faced with today is a strange situation, right? This is the 6 of Swords, and it is going to be, swords are about soul, it is thought, it is intellect, it is communication. So this can indicate a thought or a communication. This indicates possibly hard thoughts because this is one of the cards of going to a new place, right? He is pulling them across the water to a new land. They have all of their burdens with them, but they are not being attacked by those burdens. They are in the past and they are still carrying the knowledge learned with them. This is a 6, and 6 are about nurturative spirits. It is, you have overcome the Knight, right? And you are, or the 5, the challenge, and you are not quite yet to the harvest of the 7 or the King. It is giving the appropriate energy in the appropriate way. This is removing yourself from a situation so that you can nurture yourself, so that you can rest before you get to the final line. Now, you have this in the reverse, which may indicate that you need to stay where you are, right? If this indicates there is going to be movement, right? This is movement probably around a thought or an idea. It can be around a communication, but it's probably a thought or an idea. This is your current situation, right? This is what you are currently facing, not what you want, not what is feeding it, but the current situation. And your current situation appears to be a little bit of stagnation, right? That's the best way to describe this card in reverse, I believe, because this is movement with positive, encouraging, putting the energy where it needs to be, right? And so in reverse, it is going to be less of that energy. It is going to be staying put and not investing the energy quite correctly. Now, it is still a nurturing card, so it's to nurture yourself. But it does appear that there is a bit of stagnation in whatever your earthly path is currently. Not what you're trying to manifest, what is currently going on. It does appear to be a little bit of stagnation. Now, actions that can be taken, we have the Ace of Cups, right? The Divine Masculine lets us know what steps we can take to flip this situation around, to make it come into our life fully. This is a new emotional understanding, a new emotional idea, right? You are being presented with a brand new emotion. What it is, who knows? It can be love, it can be wrath. It is in the love and wrath position. But this is taking active, right? And so if there is a sense of stagnation, there is a sense of not getting where you want with the idea, then it can be that there needs to be an emotional connection that can be outside of yourself. Cups are familial connections, it is spousal connection, it is co-worker connections, and it is friendships. But it is not the people, it is the emotions behind it. It is the connections that are made. It is about feeling. Water is about feeling, about being adjustable. And so this appears that there needs to be, or is currently, a new understanding coming into you on an emotional level about the stagnation. You are being presented with a new emotional opportunity. You're being presented with a new pathway too, all the way up at the top. And it's going to take us a minute to get there, but do not let it slip by you that these two aces are opposite of each other in the same orientation on the central trunk. Especially considering in the central trunk, that is the only two cards that are upright. And this new presentation of a new idea and or a new path provisionally and new emotional connections, it appears you need to get out of the box. Now, we move to the area of the sacral. The sacral is the area of physical generation. This is what you are trying to create in your life. This is the current situation in the base. This is what you are wanting to bring. This is you, right? Your hopes, dreams, and aspirations of the third eye is where you envision your future. You energetically invest through your heart out into the divine, and you take positive steps in the right direction here. This is also the area that deals with a lust and chastity. So you may be giving away too much physical affection. You may not be receiving any physical affection. Neither one is intrinsically good. You have the strength card in reverse. When you get presented with the strength card, that is telling you to stand strong. That is telling you that you are doing the correct actions to bring about the correct end. This is an 8. It is the presentation of a new path. The new path is going to be the path of swords, right? This is the clarifier for the 8 of swords. And so there can be something about an idea, communication, right? You do have a sword here to clarify. When she is standing tall, she has infinity over her head and she is holding the mouth of the lion closed. That is using appropriate force to prevent the attack from the lion. That is preventing the lion from going outside of his box. She is not opening his mouth, right? That is not being forceful, right? It is being strong, but not in an overbearing way. It is making sure that everybody is safe. It is taking the appropriate action using strength. It is an 8, so it is going to be the presentation of a choice, or not a choice, but the realization that the choice will be coming. The opportunity is presenting itself. The 8 is the higher iteration of the ace. And so you have it in reverse, which can indicate that you are being a little bit too strong, that you are standing in your own self just a little bit too much, that maybe you need to back out of that just a little bit, right? And if it wasn't that you needed to be strong, this wouldn't show up. But this can show that you are being too strong, that you are not seeing this emotional path and this presentation here because you are being too strong. You're being a little stubborn, maybe. Now, clarifying, that is the card of regrets. This is the 9 of swords, and I call this the PTSD card. It is dealing with swords, which means that it is a thought or a communication, intellect, soul. He has these swords on the wall. That is all the people that he has already defeated. This is the 9, so it is indicating that there is a choice about a thought or an idea that you need to take place in. And it is the card of regrets, right? He is in this pose not because he is sleeping well. He is in this pose because he has regrets. And those regrets are attached to these past combats. He is regretting the actions that he has taken to get those swords, right? He is trying to find the higher path. He is being presented with a choice. you're being presented with a choice as well. And it appears that there is an emotional situation that you are being presented with, a brand new understanding of emotion that you can get. And it appears to be related to letting go of some regrets or being very aware of those regrets. Now, it is probably going to be letting go of, even though it is not a reversal, because it has you backing out of your strength, right? If you were making the appropriate decisions, then maybe this card wouldn't be here. But there is some sense of regret that is, you are being too strong in, right? You're being too strong, sense of regret. And so there is something emotional that you are regretting, that you are not talking about, you are not communicating to someone, you are not taking the correct actions upon. This is a regret and a strength that does seem to be that you are looking for a resolution to a situation. Right now, this is what you're trying to bring into your life. This is your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. This is the positive steps, right? This is physical generation. This is what you are doing physically. And so it appears that you may be holding yourself back from progress on the physical path by being regretful and being too strong in it. Next, we're going to move to the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is what literally changes your food into fuel. It is tied to your stomach. It deals with gluttony and temperance, the overconsumption of the things of the mortal coil, the underconsumption of the things of the mortal coil, and neither one is intrinsically good in and of itself. And what you have is a little bit of a need to let go of the past regrets. Right now, this is a nostalgia card. This is the Six of Cups, and therefore it is going to be about emotions, right? But this is about a nurturing energy. This is giving the energy in the appropriate way, the divine feminine, right? Now, maybe not in the maturity, that would be the queen, but definitely in that energy, right? This is not harvesting your crops. This is not planting your crops. This is taking care of your crops, fertilizing, watering, and weeding, making sure that you are putting the appropriate energy to receive the appropriate harvest. You have this card in the reverse. When it is standing tall, we have these two children right here. People look on that as a spirit of reminiscence. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but it kind of fits the read today, so we're going to go with it. The spirit of reminiscence here is positive, right? This is two children remembering their childhood. There is a whole house back here in a city, and a man standing right over here who is taking care of them. He has a spear. He is guarding the place. It is a spirit of reminiscence of your childhood. Now, in the reverse, that can indicate that there is some regret about your childhood that you are reminiscing about. Now, considering these things together, right, we have this regret that you appear to be having, and you have a regret here that you're being too strong about. You have an emotional opportunity that's going to require you to get over this stagnant energy. And clarifying your solar plexus here, we've got the Knight of Swords. Twice, right? We've got it here, and we've got it here in the throat. And so the Knight of Swords, when he is standing tall, is about taking quick, decisive action in the appropriate way. He has already learned all of the things as the page, or has understood the things he learned as the page, and now he is rising to go meet the challenge. He is on his white steed of victory. He has his sword raised high. He is fully armored, and he is charging into the past, right? If they're facing this way, it's the past. If they're facing the other way, it's the future. He is charging into the past. Again, a reminiscence. This again is a thought, an idea, or a communication. It's dealing with swords. And so we have a heavy energy here in the bottom of regret. There is something that you are holding on to just a little bit too tightly that you need a new perspective on. A new emotional understanding that's going to require you to do a little bit of movement. You're going to have to back out just a little bit of standing firm. And we're about to get some more confirmation of that. Next, we go to the heart. The heart is what you truly are manifesting in your life. You envision it here in your third eye with your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. You take positive steps here in the soul, in the sacral. But this is where you energetically invest, right? You take the energy that you consume, you direct it, and then you put it out into the world. This goes into your divine, and it leads into manifestation. This is the area that deals with greed and charity. Greed is associated with the mortal coil. It is loving things just a little bit too much. Charity is associated with the upper coil, and it is loving things just not quite enough. Neither one are intrinsically good. You are intended to have things, just not all of the things. And you've got temperance in reverse. Right? This is the reiteration. When temperance is standing tall, this is the proper, just application of making decisions. Right? This is not depriving yourself of things, but making balanced decisions. This is acting in perfect accordance with what needs to be done. He is pouring the waters of life from one cup into another, balancing them. He is standing equally upon the water and upon the earth, balancing them. Temperance is about balance. You have this card in the reverse, which can indicate that maybe you're a little bit overbalanced. That can be very well what is intimated by this strength in reverse and this reminiscence in reverse, right? You need to back out of something that you believe just a little bit, right? That is not to say to completely overthrow your thoughts, beliefs, moral systems, but maybe you are making incorrect decisions around your morality. You don't necessarily understand the ethics involved, right? And so you are making choices that are not exactly aligned with what you want in your life, right? This is your wants. This is your manifestation. And it is in the reverse. Now, clarifying that with some actions that can be taken is the 4, right? This is the Empress in reverse. The Empress is a 4 card, so that indicates that there is some understanding that needs to be happening. This is the beginning of the divine feminine, right? Later on we get the queens, and the queens are the divine feminine in their maturity, when they have matured. This is the immature divine feminine. This is capriciousness, this is jealousy, this is backbiting, this is talking about other people. This is not being mature in your divine feminine, but rather being immature in your divine feminine. It is a card of understanding because it is a 4, and it indicates that there is some understanding about maturity that needs to occur. And you've got it in the reverse, which can indicate that maybe you are in the process of learning that maturity, or it can indicate that you are not to act mature. Now, that is generally speaking a lesser interpretation of the card. I do not normally say be immature, but considering what we have, right, you have this reminiscence card that can indicate something from childhood. You have taking firm action on an idea. You have an idea that you regret and you need to back out of your strength a little bit. These 3 sections, right, these are connected, and so it is entirely possible that there is the way that you're going to recognize this emotional opportunity down here and be able to get past these regrets is by embracing something from your childhood. Now, I don't know what that is, right? There is something about a reminiscence that you are not getting correct, right? There is a little bit of a strength that you need to back out of. You probably regret the situation. This indicates that maybe you need to give some more consideration to something that you were doing, right? You have an emotional opportunity here. That opportunity appears to be possibly healing some rift from your past. It is an emotional connection. We have a lot of cups, but we also have a lot of swords. And swords are thoughts and ideas. These swords are manifesting in such a way that you need to take action upon them, right? You've only got... Let's do a count, right? We got cups. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 cups off the top. That's a quarter of the reed. And then we got swords. We got 1, 2, 3. What else we got? Is that all the swords? So we got 4 swords. So half of the reed is either cups or swords. Most of them are in the reverse direction, right? Or about half of them. And so there is something about this that you're going to need to get under control. It is an emotional situation tied intricately to a thought of yours that you need to get a new understanding emotionally about. There is an action that needs to be taken to overcome a regret, and that will allow both of these cards to be flipped around, right? This This is the confusing part, is this Empress in reverse, because that does appear to be embracing the childishness a little bit. And we just had another read where we saw that. Maybe have a little bit more fun, maybe relax a little bit, maybe you're trying a little too hard, right? There's some stagnation that is occurring. That can be you were just plodding down the same path without regard to how it's actually turning out. Let's see if we can get some further clarification as we go along. Next, we're going to go to the throat. The throat is the area of communication that is dealing with pride and humility. So taking credit for work that you did not do, not taking credit for work that you did do. Neither one is intrinsically good. You should take pride in a job well done, but it does not make you better than other people. Your current situation dealing with communication is the Knight of Swords. Now, this is a reiteration. This is the right-hand path. The right-hand path is linked. The left-hand path is linked. The central trunk is linked. The bottom trio is linked. The top trio is linked. There is a link that runs through the heart all of the ways. And so there's various ways to see this. This right-hand path, you have the Knight of Swords in the opposite positions in the same orientation. It is probably going to be related. There is a communication or an idea that needs some decisive action taken upon it. This is the area of communication, right? This is the area of physical generation where you feed everything. This is how you communicate. And so it does appear that there is a communication that needs to happen, right? This is a communication card in the communication slot. And so this regret, this nostalgia that you are misremembering, this needing to back out of your strength and temperance, it is related to this communication. Clarifying that with actions that can be taken is a spirit of non-cooperation. When this is standing tall, this is one of the marriage cards of the tarot. It actually makes sense that this would be a marriage card. If you look, there is a couple down there and they are celebrating, right? They are raising their cups. They have the victory poles raised above them. This is change. Wands are about change. This is a 4. It is understanding, and it is a wand. And wand is spirit, fire, life, light, logos, and intuition. Change. Spirit talks to you through your intuition. This is an area of communication. This can be the spirit is telling you something. When it is standing tall, this is one of the marriage cards. It is a celebration card, and it is a cooperation card. This can indicate that the communication is going to lead to some disharmony, right? This communication needs to take place. It should be open. It should be honest with no obfuscation, right? You should not be trying to hide things in a clear and honest communication. Clear and honest communication is sometimes going to lead to not cooperating with people, right? If your feelings are being hurt, they are valid. And if this new emotional opportunity requires that you back away from someone, then that is what needs to happen. Now, this is not necessarily meaning that there's going to be a breakup in a relationship situation, but it can indicate that. You do absolutely, right, from reading these cards, there is an emotional situation that you need to recognize right now in the current time. There is a spirit of childishness, there is some regrets, and there is action that needs to be taken about a thought. You need to back out of yourself just a little bit in order to achieve that. And so it really does feel like this throat is the key to this whole read. Sometimes it's in a different place, but there is a communication that needs to happen. It is a spirit of non-cooperation. Next, we're going to go to the third eye. This is your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, where it's where you envision your future. This is what you want to accomplish with your life. You envision it here, you energetically invest here, and you take positive steps in your sacral. This deals with sloth and diligence, so working towards your goals or just expecting them to happen without your input, that will not take place. You've got the Knight of Understanding, right? This is not an understanding card, but that is what he is doing, right? Knights are about rising to meet the challenge. You have a challenging communication or idea over here. This is a challenge on the earthly path. This is not quite having enough money, right? It is on the higher path, so that is a little bit less likely, right? The 5 of Pentacles is the challenge for not having money. This is more of a challenge of understanding how to use that money wisely, right? You have harvested with the 8 or with the 7. You realize the new path with the 8. You make a choice with the 9. You start learning with the 10. You understand with the page, and then you rise to meet the challenge, right? This is right before you get to the Queen, where you take a break for a minute, and then you get the final harvest. He is sitting upon his horse. They are not moving, but he is looking into the future, and he is contemplating the world. That is what the Pentacles symbolizes. Pentacles is exactly the same as the base. Do you have a job? Do you have a home? Do you have food? Do you have money? Provision. And so this is a provision card. You are trying to envision in your future, understanding, rising to the challenge of how to make money. Now, that is clarified by the 9 of Cups in reverse. 9s are about a choice, right? We've already seen that. There is a choice to be made about an emotional situation. I wonder if that's shown up already. And when it is standing tall, this is, you have harvested with the 7. You realize with the 8, oh look, there is a new path of emotional fulfillment. This is making a choice about that path. When it is standing upright, that is you actively making a choice. When it is in the reverse, it is you negatively making the choice, right? Letting the choice come to you instead of chasing it down. You need an understanding, right? In order to rise to this challenge, you have to make an emotional decision. This emotional decision is going to be in the spirit of disharmony, but it is you backing out, right? If you're going to talk openly and honestly about your emotions, maybe even for the first time, that's going to require you to give a little bit, right? Emotions are subjective. Your emotions may be valid, they might not. Keep that in mind. Misinformation will give you a wrong understanding of things. And so this can be a communication that leads to greater clarity in an emotional situation that will lead to you getting rid of these regrets. This is in reverse, which indicates it is in the negative flexion. It should come to you. When he is standing tall, this is sometimes it is interpreted as a smugness, right? He has got this little smirk on his face. He is sitting there and he's got all of these cups behind him. That is his just rewards, but maybe he is a little bit too proud of it. In the reverse, this is a decision that you've got to make about the higher path. It is being presented to you, but it is going to require this communication. That will lead to you being able to rise to this challenge. This emotional situation is a big deal. Right? I don't know what it is, right? I don't think this reading even has anything to do with me today, and sometimes they do. This one I don't think has anything to do with me at all. This is all you. Whoever you are, right? Next, we're going to move to the crown, and the crown is the area where you interpret what the divine tells you. It is what you feel responsible for achieving. The divine gives you a message, it comes through the crown, it gets filtered out through all the rest. This is the area that deals with hope and despair, so if everything is going wrong and you find the silver lining, this is the area that might need a little bit of balance. And if everything is going great and you are still finding the lead lining, this might need balance in you as well. What you have is the presentation of a brand new opportunity on the path. This is a new job, this is a new home, this is a new food, right, or provision. This is on the provisionary path. It is being presented to you. It is what you feel responsible. It is how you feel the divine is talking to you. It is the presentation of an earthly path. It is the Ace of Pentacles. There's not even a whole lot left to explain about that, right? This is divinely providential path opening up for you. But it is going to require something. This is the Four of Cups. What is a 4? Understanding. An understanding about what? An emotional situation. Now, this is the manifestation card, right? I know not everybody sees it that way, but I do, right? Some people look at this as he is looking at these 3 empty cups with regret, but I look at it in a different way. He is seated underneath the tree of wisdom. He is in a meditative state, and he is being presented with what he is manifesting. He has taken these 3 cups and turned it into what he truly desires. That is the actions that you are being told to take, but in a negative flexion. This is an understanding about an emotional situation that is going to lead to you being able to manifest, but you're not quite there. There is something holding you back. Some past regret, maybe. Maybe you're standing a little bit too strong. Maybe you need to reminisce a little bit and overcome some regrets. This is all working together towards an emotional situation, however that may happen to fall out for you. Being in the reverse, it is in the negative, right? This choice is in a negative, and this understanding is in a negative. This particular understanding, right? We talk when it's over here in the left-hand path about not understanding somebody's feelings, right? If they're wrong, then you don't have to get that understanding. That is not the same energy in the crown, right? This is a divine message to you, which indicates that you are not quite at the level of manifestation because of this regret. If this card was in this presentation on the left-hand path, we'd be talking about feelings being considered in other people. That is not what this is, right? This is a new path being presented to you, but you have to do a little bit of work to manifest it, and that is due to emotional understanding, which you are not currently having, right? That is something that absolutely has to unfold from this conversation. And rounding out our message from the divine on the divine feminine. Now, the divine is not colored by any of the virtues and vices. It has all of the virtues and vices in perfect equilibrium. And you've got justice. Justice is kind of like the strength and the temperance card. It is about fair and equitable distribution. This is fair and equitable distribution of the law, and it is standing upright as opposed to what your other two have, right? This is fair and equitable distribution. This is being strong, which is fair and equitable, right? They have the infinity symbols intricately involved. He has a sword of thought here on his hand. He is holding the scales of balance. It is about the balanced application of intellect. This is doing things with the thoughts in the correct manner. This is what you are being told your current situation is directly from the divine. There is some justice to unfold. That can indicate that you have some balance to bring into your life, maybe by becoming a little bit unbalanced. But this is definitely something occurring, right? This is in your current situation, the current energy is that you need justice. Now, this can indicate that there is justice already in your life, or that you need to bring the justice. Considering everything else is probably bring the justice. This is an 11 card, which is an understanding card. It is an understanding about thoughts, right? This is the clarifier for the Page of Swords. And so, there is some justice, maybe related to a thought or a communication, that needs to occur balanced. And clarifying that with steps that can be taken from the bottom of the deck is rising to meet the challenge in a negative flexion. Right? When this is standing tall, this is you rising to meet the challenge of change. Again, facing the past. He has this horse charging forward, just like our knight, right? Our Knight of Swords charging forward or backwards. This is also charging backwards. They're both equally armored. They both have their weapons. They're both running into the past. Now, wands are about change. Lifeline logos change, intuition. This can be an intuitive understanding, right? You're rising to meet the challenge through your intuition. But again, this is in the negative flexion. If it is upright, like all the rest of your knights are, that is something that you are actively doing. In the negative reflection, that is, you are letting the challenge come to you so that you can rise. You have this idea, this thought, this communication that needs to happen, an understanding about the earthly path that needs to happen. This communication, right, you are going to have to enact it. Right, you have that clearly from these two swords. These Knights of Swords is telling you actively resolve this intellectual communication issue. I'm leaning more towards the communication because of how it turned out, right? The spirit of non-cooperation that you've got. But if we take these two cards in accordance with everything else that is on the deck, right? All the rest of these cards, You are being faced with a need for balance in your life. That balance is going to require you to be a little less strong, a little less temperate. But if you strike the balance, then justice is going to unfold. You also have change occurring in your life. You are to rise to meet the challenge, but you're kind of to let the change come to you, whereas with the communication, you probably already know what needs to be said, right? This is not something that you are not aware of, right? There is a brand new emotional opportunity here being presented to you in the future tense, right? Not with a current situation, but the actions you can take. And so there is an emotional understanding. But you already know what this conversation is. You are avoiding it. This is telling you not to avoid that conversation. That really is going to be the key to unlocking this, to make things turn around, and so that you get presented this path that leads to a greater opportunity. You're going to need a little bit of communication. You're going to have to talk to whoever it is, even if you think it might hurt their feelings, and that is probably what the holdup is here, right? You don't want to hurt this divine partner's feelings. Sometimes that is a necessity, especially if you are dealing with the truth. If you are hiding your feelings in order to accommodate someone else's feelings, you are doing a disservice to yourself, and you will not be able to manifest anything. That's going to bring us to the end of the reading, and hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, a share, a follow, throw me a comment. Whether you agree or disagree with anything that was stated, put it in the box down below. And if it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you really like what I'm doing over here, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership or pick up a copy of the book where I teach you to do magic responsibly. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt's Take. Peace.